SSDs just for you. Blabbin about slabbin', first Thursday's the spot. Blabbin about slabbin', SSB cards we got. Chris and Jeff, the card collecting crew.
Okay. A little different vibe coming into tonight.
Yeah, a little softer, a little more gentle, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, I think this is the first time in weeks that we're not up against a significant baseball game.
Just the NFL, right?
Yeah, still football, but hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of Blabbin' About Slabbin' Live, and this is a World Series edition, Chris. We've got probably, I don't know, maybe the most anticipated World Series in some time, considering the size of the markets, the number one seeds, the potential MVPs playing. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that Jeff and I root for different teams, and Jeff's a Midwestern fan, so seeing two monster payrolls in the World Series is especially brutal for him. This is about as excited as I'm going to get. I'm way more excited than I was last year. There's just so much talent on these two teams. They're both a little top heavy, but it's a huge top.
Yeah. And like Chris said, our teams are bounced out. But for me, that's one thing that makes the hobby exceptionally enjoyable is that I still have a rooting interest. Maybe not with the teams, but with a lot of these players, Mookie and Shohei and Soto. So I'm excited.
I'm sure you just temporarily forgot Freddie Freeman, but that's okay. That's
Freeman,
okay.
Garrett Cole, yes, the rest
there
of
we
them.
Go. All right, some quick hellos. Matt McNeil, Bill Ham Jr., Mad City Brew, A. Plumberman. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hello, Professor's Dugouts, Curator of Cardboard. What's going on, guys?
From South Texas, welcome in. Yeah, World Series Eve, and Wyatt, we do have to get a photo shoot at the park or the beach. That'd be great.
Yeah, we need like an intro, Jeff. What I was thinking of is the something like the beach jogging scene, the beach running scene from Rocky 3. I think that's what we need to do.
All right.
It'll go really well with that particular song, I think.
Yeah.
It has a certain
right,
vibe
I got to hit the gym a little harder before we do that one.
That's all right. As long as we have the high socks and some excessive hugging, I think we're good to go.
A lot of hugging. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Floyd fan, go Soto, Judge, and Freeman. I think this is the first time in a while that there's a lot of people that have a rooting interest in players other than the teams necessarily, because a lot of people aren't caring who wins this. Some are, obviously, but some people just want to see it go as long as possible, see the big my shoulders I don't think could take it unless Chris is lifting me up.
Man, I don't know. It's tough either way.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, especially people in the hobby, are going to be watching this one closely.
Yeah, I would say last year when the Diamondbacks played the Rangers, I think I talked about this on an episode of Spitball, and I have going into that World Series, I had one Corey Seager card, and that's it. I had no Corbin Carroll. I didn't have any Scherzer. I didn't have any Adolis Garcia. I mean, I was watching the games, but like I didn't get fired up. The first game was great when Seager hit the game tire in the 9th and Adolis walked it off in the 10th. Like that was awesome. But, I didn't really talk about it too much. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the most talked about World Series in a long time.
I agree. Probably need a little bit more detail here. Flagship Black PSA collectible, but I would say chances are yes, because PSA 8 is a pretty good grade actually for the black parallels. They're condition sensitive. So
I would say any grade of a flagship black is great. And that actually Jeff, that's going to lead us as smooth a segue, as smooth a transition as humanly possible into our first IG shout out. Speaking of flagship blacks, it's a little it almost feels a little bit like nepotism because he is kind of like a younger brother, but I wanted to talk about hold on. Short Print a Day posted his run. There it is. Of Juan Soto flagship blacks.
Yeah, that's pretty darn impressive. I gotta say.
And this is it's so cool to see all these together. And by the way, I forget who asked, but there are 2 PSA 8s in here, and they look just fine to me.
Yeah, look at all those together. Hard to believe. We talked about this on a recent episode as well, that Soto is just so young, and yet look at, he's got 8 years of Topps flagship blacks there.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, that the 2018 and 20, when you look at them all together too, you realize how good the designs were in 2018 and 19. And then a little bit lazy in 2021.
Yeah. Like Spinal Tap says, how much blacker could it be? 18 and 19 is very black.
Yeah, let's dial the black up to 11.
Yep. They got to go back to it. It's a little better. This year's, I think, is the best since then.
Yeah. Yep. SFO Sox fan sums it up nicely. That's a sexy group of Soto singles. Trying to work my alliteration.
2 important questions to get to while we're checking this out. Professor, is it true that the print run on the Gold Mirrors SSPs and update is around 70 each? What are you hearing, Chris?
Yes, that is definitely true. That came from 2 places. There was oh boy, I don't know the handle, but there's a an X handle that always does the math, and the number they came up with was 72. And our resident mathematician, Kate Kraske, she came up with, I think she said 75.
Yeah,
so
saying about 75. So
early low 70s is definitely the print run, and based on what we're seeing on eBay, Jeff, there's certainly no higher than that.
No, and that's what, Chris, half of the series 1 and 2 runs.
Yes, definitely half of one for sure.
M. Parsons is from a wife's point of view. She's excited by these blacks and assumes that Short Print Today's wife is also excited by these.
I think I'm going to have to put some flagship black runs together myself, Jeff.
Next time we go to Chris's house, there's going to be a flagship black run all the way around, like wallpaper.
The Orlando Archie run.
Earlier today, Bazooka Tom says, did the Jackson Holiday SSP ever surface?
Have not seen it. Still MIA.
Apparently, his rookie debut has shown up, right, Chris? That's what because I had heard that one was. Chris said it was.
Yes, that has shown up, but still nothing. I'll do a quick. I haven't looked in a couple hours, but I'm getting concerned, Jeff, that they just didn't make it.
Yeah, they were just waiting for him to get a Gatorade bath so they could add it to the other Gatorade bath shots of rookies, and he just wasn't getting one.
No, I mean that might not happen until 2027. Who knows? I mean, do they do Gatorade baths in AAA?
I don't know. Probably water. I don't know if they can afford Gatorade.
That's
Professor, those Cheerio Golden Mirrors came up right away, and then I haven't seen a lot since then. So it is going to be a little bit harder for us to get those. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Those 2. I saw those 2, and I can't confirm or deny that Jeff may have purchased both of those. I don't know. But they disappeared, and I haven't seen them since, and we haven't seen another one pop up.
I wish I had purchased one of them, but I did not purchase either of them, sadly. Kevin, thank you for joining us from traffic. I don't know if you've seen that meme going around, Kevin, but tomorrow is like the perfect storm of LA traffic. There's like 6 sporting events and major concerts going on, including the World Series. So if anybody is in LA and does not have to drive tomorrow, I would recommend staying home.
Yes, our good friend Gregory, our resident AJ Smith-Shawver super collector, picked up his gold mirror, and his picture it's one of the, unfortunately, it's a bad one. It's not great, and it's a shame.
Bath?
I'm sorry.
No Gatorade bath for AJ?
No Gatorade bath for the Ass Man. If you remember his autograph, quick reminder. I think he's telling us something. I don't know. Can you see this, Jeff?
Yep, I see the ass.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we like to hear. It's too bad because Dylan Lee, who's another sort of middle reliever for the Braves, and certainly worse or lower potential than what AJ Smith-Shawver offers, his gold mirror is fantastic. He's hanging out with Blooper. I think it's one of my favorite, like, kind of silly themed, if you will, images that we've seen so far.
Well, while you're pulling that up, a lot of talk in the chat about condition sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Sensitivity of the golden mirrors. Yes, we've seen a lot of chipped edges and borders. I remember on the first Cheerios that came out, the top border looked a little rough. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with the black parallels as well. Ooh, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like they're legitimately having like a fairly serious conversation.
Yeah, I like the pose. I like the pose there.
Yeah, I never noticed it before, but this card makes me feel like Blooper should have pants.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A few things I'd say there, but let's just go on. So Kevin says your drive home's cutting from the 101 South through downtown. Oh man, you should just bring a cot and sleep at work.
Yeah.
I did see this. I saw they were trying to be sold for $6,000. I didn't see if any actually went for that, but I did see that price. It is a very hot ticket. Needless to say, we're not going.
Absolutely not. I don't know. I can't imagine the Uber surge price has got to be insane too if you're trying to avoid the parking. Jacob, pardon my pronunciation. I've gotten this wrong before. Goudreau, probably Goudreau. I'll have to make it classy sounding. I've seen these Paw Patrol cards. I will tell you they are not for me. They seem a little bit rare, but I just don't think they belong in this product. I feel like these should have been in that Topps Big League set, Jeff.
I agree, but we did get a couple comments by people in the comments after the last video that said that their kids watch Paw Patrol and they like collecting cards, so they enjoyed it being in the set. So I guess some people like it. There's just so many of them being posted on eBay. I think people were thinking they might be more rare than they actually are.
I don't even know how many are in the set. I don't know how many different
poses,
images there are.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we had a couple kind of interesting thoughts about this card. I noticed in the
I was wondering about those.
Moai. First of all, it's blooper, and that's a very important distinction to make. And I don't know. I believe it's a he, but the picture makes me unsure. We'll put it that way. Oh my God, Jeff! It reminds me of that. Remember that the Chicago news blooper or the news? Yeah, call it a blooper, where the news team pulls up a story about the Cubs and they pulled up the Cubs mascot, but they had been obviously trolled by someone who had just quit in their graphics department. A+. We can't show that here, but if you guys want to Google that real quick, you will enjoy it.
Yes. Take a look at that on your own.
Yeah. Yes, on your own. Professor's Dugout. Winnie the Poohing it would be a great PSA slab.
SFO Sox fan, I'm right here with you. Should be an opening day. I would not mind that at all. Bring back opening day. And Brewers Kill, better than the Kevin Hart variation. That was, that wasn't great. So I'll agree with that. I'd Paw Patrol, I'd rather have.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to show another Instagram card, but I feel like I need to give a warning.
Oh, boy.
Because we've got some heat coming in, and I don't want anyone to get lightheaded. So make sure you're sitting comfortably, maybe with an ice pack or a cold compress or something, because things are going to get a little bit intense in here.
Or a cold cocktail. Well, don't worry, everybody. Doc's arrived. Oh, yeah. All right. It's a lot of red right there.
Lord. Yeah. This card, I tell you.
Now, the redness of that looks familiar, Chris. We have a similar red card, although not quite of the same player.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing to even mention our red when this red is on the screen. But yeah, we have the Bryce Harper of this, but this card is just, my goodness. Aloha State cards.
It just goes back to the designs in 2018. We saw the black background on that black parallel from Short Print Today, and look at the red on this this chrome. What a beautiful card. I saw it posted. I didn't read his write-up. Did he say anything about like he just picked it up, or I'm wondering why it's not graded. That's rare to see one in the wild there. Kind of.
My eyes were a little singed initially, so I didn't have a chance to read what he said. There's nothing in there about his acquisition of the card, but I want to ask a question to our viewers who are watching and looking at this with us. Would you rather have this red, or would you rather have this red plus a sticker auto on the surface with it? Because I can tell you what Jeff and I would prefer. But I mean.
All right, Chris, though, can you remind us, is this out of 25 or is it out of 5?
So 28, the update reds are always out of 25 for whatever reason.
Non-autos.
Yeah, right. And the non-autos. But apparently, based on an eBay listing we saw today, I thought the autos were also out of 25, Jeff, but it looks like the autos are out of 5, but the non-autos are out of 25.
Right, which makes it a little bit tougher of a decision, because that out of 5 is pretty rare, but it just I don't know. I don't know if we're influencing the chat or the chat's influencing us, but there's a lot of
I see a lot of no stickers.
Okay, so SFO says, for me, no sticker, but if I'm reselling, I think the sticker auto moves the needle a little bit more. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know how much longer that'll be though. It just looks like such a perfect card, and I could see it looking great with an on card, say like a blue ink auto over those white pants.
Yeah. Or
But
they just kind of fade his legs a little bit so the auto would stand out. We do know, Jeff, that the gold with a sticker auto in a PSA 10 sold for $11,000. So I think, yeah, what SFO Sox fan here said, I think if you're looking for resale value, you probably do want
which
the
is
auto.
what, Chris, like 150% of what the non-auto would go for?
I don't think we've seen a non-auto PSA 10 gold come up. I haven't seen one sell.
Yeah, well, it just it's visually and aesthetically, this is one of the best cards you can see.
For sure. I just wanted to highlight what Kenny Tomek here is saying. I don't think I've made a deal with Aloha State cards before. I'm not 100% sure, but I've talked to him a lot. He seems like a great guy. And Kenny confirms, great card, even better seller person. He got his Pop 2 Otani. Ooh. Independence Day rookie from him. So
speaking of fire, yeah,
oh my
those
goodness.
This and the Independence Day parallel from the same year are two of the best all-time parallels.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't stop looking at this card. I got to take it down.
Said a gold PSA 9 just did 5,500.
Auto or non-auto, Kenny? Just to be 100%, I just want to be 100% sure.
I'm guessing non-auto, but yeah,
I'm guessing non-auto, but just a little extra confirmation.
Oh, Retro Raj, I like this. Keep us posted on this. I'm hoping to get a conversation going with the creative director at Topps to talk card designs. I'm in a related art career, so hopefully I can ask some of these questions. Great. Yeah. Love it. Keep us posted on that.
Yeah, I do. I want to give Fanatics. Oh, wait, thank you, Kenny. Non-auto. Wow, that's okay. I like seeing that. So maybe Soto stuff is really starting to climb. I want to give Fanatics a little bit of credit. I did like the 2024 design. Yeah, it's different than what we've seen in like 21, 2, and 3. So they kind of swung to the fences there, and I like it.
For me, 2024, when we first did the preview, it reminded me of like an 86 style design with a twist, with a little neon. So yeah, I agree. Flawed thinker, yeah, I agree with this too. The faint white lines are what makes it so good, right? It's not just completely red. It's got these, I don't even know what you'd call them, Chris. But on the Independence Day, it kind of almost looks like fireworks coming up.
Yep.
Yeah. The styling is great.
It's almost like it gives like the feeling of motion.
Yeah.
Or like the movement to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Jeff Bugenhagen, congrats on your PSA 10 Yamamoto.
He's going to get some chances here to really show his stuff.
Oh, yeah. I have seen a lot of posts, and I'm sure Jeff has too, and maybe you guys have too, a couple of YouTube videos. A lot of people getting absolutely hammered at PSA in the last couple of weeks with their grade. So, Jeff, I'm excited to see anyone get back good results from PSA is exciting to see.
Yeah, I feel bad for Neo. I watched Neo's video earlier today, and it's a great reveal video if you haven't checked it out, Neo Cards and Comics. But he had a really rough one. And rough with modern cards, Chris, ones that we're used to expecting pretty solid grades on.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know that feeling a little bit. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, maybe assume there's like a new grader trying to make a name for him or herself. And I don't know. Who knows? Okay. Hold on. What? Oh, boy. Retro Rod, completely agree. Jeff and I actually referenced this in a video we're posting, I think, tomorrow, that 2021 is just, it's a rough set, both in checklist and design. Or rookie class and design. Yeah. Yep. Raise your hand if you thought Tariq Skubal was going to be the number one rookie to come out of 2021.
Number one and maybe only, right, so far.
Oh, yeah.
Peeps agreed. 18 is a classic both for Chrome and flagship. Chris, I can appreciate this. Chris Hayes, 2016 World Series greater than all World Series. Sincerely, this unapologetic Cubs fan. I'm sure Chris feels similarly about a more recent World Series as well. Yeah, I get it.
Chris Hayes, I was actually, I don't know why, but I went down like a rabbit hole of highlights from that World Series. And I'm just curious, from a Cubs fan perspective, when Rajai Davis hit that home run off of Chapman, what was your physical reaction? Because like when Jim Leyritz hit that one off Mark Wallers in 96, I thought I was going to throw up. I'm watching that Rajai Davis home run right after, I don't know if it was Smoltz or someone was saying the only way Chapman can get hurt here is if he leaves a fastball like down and in, and next pitch down and in, Rajai Davis clears, like ties it at 6. Ties it at 6 or 5. That was one of the most incredible and now forgotten swings like in baseball history. Like game tying, I want to say it was like the 8th inning off of Chapman in game 7. Huge swing, but the Cubs held it together and won the game anyway.
And Rajai Davis, there's a name from the past, not a home run hitter.
No, but that's a ball that someone in Cleveland was probably about to spend $1 million on and now would probably sell for maybe 100. But Tyler Wood has a question for us, Jeff. I don't think you saw it or didn't.
Oh yeah, best Ohtani for $500. 2019 Topps Black, 18 Heritage Chrome, etc. Well, these prices are a little fluid. As Shelley said, the 2019 Topps Black is going to run you closer to 700. I think that is getting a little higher now. I don't know what a Heritage Chrome is. Is that still under 500, Chris?
I don't know. I would say, but let's assume he has access to both of these cards at that price point. Which one would you take? Let's assume.
I would take the 2019 Topps Black at those price points. Much lower print run. Love the rookie cup on there, the black parallel. So all things considered, condition wise, if we're looking similar, I would go with that. But the Heritage Chrome, that's not a bad card either. So
no, Jeff and I are big fans of Gold Cup plus Topps Black parallels. Really nice combination. I guess it just depends if you prefer the Gold Cup or the RC. I don't know that he's got a ton of rookies. I tend to with Ohtani, you want to drift and stay in flagship if you can because he has so many cards, but. Either one probably is a win. I would get the one I would say get the one you can get in the best condition. Put it that way.
Professor, yes, we talked about those lines. Chris still has it up here on the screen. It's great.
Yep. I want to show Mookie Chilson's comment here.
Oh,
nice. Just to fire up our Yankee fans that might be with us tonight. Not an impossibility.
Definitely something to consider. And we know that his cards have stayed steadily lower than we thought they might, given his season, just because there's Yankee fans who don't want to go all in on him, understandably, because if he's across town, they probably won't be as happy to be collecting him.
Speaking of guys on new teams, Bill Ham wants to know if we think first-year Dodger jersey Ohtanis are going to keep value long-term, or if they're I would say both of those things could be true. Some of them are definitely overhyped. And you know that everything gets a little bit thrown out of whack with those the Topps Chrome buybacks.
Yes, correct.
And every gold numbered 50 out of 50 seems to be getting a ton of traction. Although I imagine some people might regret that moving forward.
Yeah. I think the rarer cards might stand up, but any of these expensive prices you're paying for non-rare cards or wavy or lava type parallels aren't gonna hold. So I'd be careful if you're buying that. If you're a seller, it might be a good time to look at selling. Yeah,
I do. No surprise to anybody. I do really like the Topps Chrome SSP, which is Ohtani coming out after just being introduced opening day, first moment on the field as a Dodger in his crisp Dodger whites. That's an awesome card. Nice horizontal image. I like that one a lot. I can't imagine that one.
No, something like that'll hold the value for sure.
But yeah, like Jeff said, there's so many parallels. But
yeah, update a couple big things missing from update. And Bazooka Tom, you're talking about one of them, and I think Professor was talking about this one too. They didn't do the team logo color match parallels, and they also didn't do the true photo variation. Whether they forgot them or it was a conscious decision, I don't know.
It's a weird choice. It's weird to hear Topps do fewer parallels, especially that we're
new to do more parallels, which means it makes me think it's a mistake because I don't think they would intentionally reduce the amount of parallels.
Now that said, they did drop the print run, Jeff. So maybe they just decided it was too many parallels, but that doesn't sound like Topps logic.
Topps, but maybe. I'm gonna have to look this up. A Topps video explaining how cards are designed.
Yeah, Curator of Cardboard. I have not seen this. Neither one of us. If you have a link to that, if you could send that to our Instagrams, I would love to watch that. Yeah, please.
All right. Yeah. Well, yes, it sounds like there's probably not a lot of information we'll agree with in there, but let's watch it.
Yeah, still don't have that Acuna card yet. Still have yet to see it be produced, but we'll see.
Wow. So Jeff Bugenhagen is Look at that. 25 cards, 22 10s, 2 9s, and an 8. The 8 was on a 86 Donruss Paul Mahler. Hey, love that 86 Donruss design. That's an incredible sub. You must have had a grader who was in a very good mood, because that's bucking the trend.
I can't imagine finding a raw 1986 card that's in PSA 8 condition. 86 Donruss. I mean, what percentage of those printed were centered to begin with? Like 1% at most?
Oh, we know from Fred McGriff's, there are not a lot of them.
And it's so dark and so fragile with those edges. I mean, I would say that 8 on an 86 Donruss is the equivalent of like a modern 10. All right.
Yeah.
One more Ass Man update. Gregory has picked up the Chrome Superfractor of AJ Smith-Shawver. You know what, buddy? I'm going to be thinking about you every single time that guy pitches next year. I feel like every scoreless inning, your net worth may tick up slightly, or your enjoyment of baseball certainly ticks up slightly. That's my better way to put it.
At least a dime every scoreless appearance.
Yep. I'm not going to attempt the username here, but Jeff and I are definitely on Team PSA. Where resale value, even if you don't plan on selling your cards, at some point we're all going to sell. We're all going to sell our cards.
We're going to sell them, or somebody's going to sell them for us.
That's right. Yeah, funeral expenses are out of control, Jeff.
Yeah, and I know Chris wants to be buried with all his Freemans, but we'll see if that really happens.
Yeah, if I die first, there's absolutely no way my wife is going to bury me with valuable baseball cards. I'll tell you that much. If I die first, like, I'm not going to be stabbed in my sleep. Come on.
Hello, Jorge. Shout out from the Dominican Republic. Thanks for joining.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. All right. Let's get down to some brass tacks. SFO Sox fans, is buying Ohtani right now seems crazy. Have you seen the gold refractors out of 50 going for $1,500? I'm not sure which gold refractors you mean, but maybe he means this year's Dodgers gold.
Someone on Facebook
saying buying Ohtani seems crazy for a year, though.
Yeah.
Is this when it finally is too crazy to buy him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I did see someone on Facebook had the 2024 gold refractor 50 out of 50, and it just came back in a PSA 9, and they were asking if people in the chat, if people in Facebook thought that they should send it to SGC to try to get a 9.5 or leave it in the PSA 9. So I was like, just leave it alone. They got graders notes too, so they paid a pretty hefty price to grade that one. But yeah, I personally have no interest in a 50 out of 50 in paying a massive surcharge for that, or premium. I don't think Jeff does either.
Not worth it. Congratulations. This is an Ohtani base black and a Churio black gold. Black gold. Oh, the black gold, the blue parallel of the black gold card. Is that what that is?
Have we reached just some level of insanity, Jeff, where what you just said is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard?
Yeah. Hearing it come out was a little ridiculous.
I mean, come on. Okay, actually, SFO Sox fan mentions that seeing these 20th anniversary Red Sox highlights every morning are those are nice. I was living in New York actually in 2004, and it was as someone who was not rooting, I was aggressively rooting against the Yankees at that time. It was a fun place to be.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, I know this wasn't 2004, but I did want to share. SFO Sox fan shared a card I only recently learned existed, actually. And I was kind of like, I don't know, a little bit ashamed of myself for not knowing that this card existed, Jeff. So I ended up finding one, a little like a beat up copy that I was it's en route. I was hoping I'd have it today and I could share it when I share SFO Sox fans card. But look at this Mookie Betts card. Hold on. I can make it bigger. There we go.
Pile of bodies right there.
Yeah, this is from 2019, Topps opening day. It's a rally time insert, but I mean, these are near impossible to find. There's 4 of them total at PSA. And in his caption here, SFO Sox fan says, soon to be 5. Mine will not go. So I don't know. The print run here might be 25. I don't know the numbers. And we know that the target audience for this product, Jeff, wasn't exactly, sleeving and grading all the cards they pulled.
Right. Yeah. So whatever the print run is, half of those are probably in the trash.
Absolutely. So we got Mookie Betts here, front and center, celebrating the 2018 Red Sox championship. We got Craig Kimbrell over here, who, looks like he just came down out of a tree. He's done making cookies for the day. Slightly obscured right here is our boy Rafael Devers. I was really hoping Chris Sale made his way onto this card, but I just don't see him.
He probably is. He's probably behind someone. He's pretty thin.
Yeah, he just turned to the side, so we can't see him.
Went
I was hoping that as many Hall of Famers from this team. I would never put Craig Kimbrell in the Hall of Fame, but I'm aware of the direction that the tide is turning. But this card is really cool. Jackie Bradley Jr. down here in the front. Like, I love this. This is fantastic. I'm looking for a jumbo that I maybe will just hang on to until Betts ever signs through the mail again.
So you meet him in person?
I don't know. He's got to do like a signing with Fanatics or something, you would think, Jeff.
Yeah, he's got autographs in Leaf, but who's buying Leaf? Jeff pulled the 86 Molitor, which means he's been opening the 86 Donruss packs, which is awesome. 86, the Mark Langston year. I know he was in 85, Langston, at least Topps cards. Curator sent a video via Instagram.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I will check that out. Jeff, we got a Brewers fan here with a question for you.
Oh, yeah, I saw a couple Brewer chat. I think there's another Frelick collector in the chat as well.
Both of them are here.
No, I don't have any, and I don't have very many Cheerio cards either. I bought a couple of them, a couple of his Chrome SSPs. That's it, pretty much. So I don't have a lot of Cheerio, sadly. But Frelick, I mean, he had a great defensive season. His offense started to come back at the end of the year. There's talk about them maybe moving him back to the infield to fill that spot when Adames leaves. So we'll see what Frelick does. But I went to a couple of his first games when he was up with Milwaukee when I was in town, and it's great to see him.
Yeah. He had a great short series against the Mets. Frelick did. So Floyd Fan Tennessee, I think, is our other resident Frelick PCer, and Floyd Fan says he has a pricing question. So if you want to throw that out, we will get to it.
Wally Joyner was 86. He was in the 86 update set, but his rookies were in 87.
Correct. I think he's in all three 86. I think he's in Donruss the rookies, Topps traded, and I think Fleer update as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Retro Raj here says he would avoid the non-Photoshop Dodgers Ohtani card. So that means you're only going after that Series 1 SSSP, which is an Angels photo photoshopped to make it look like he's on the Dodgers. Soto has one of those too. I haven't checked sales on either of those two cards.
I appreciate the rarity of that card, but I just don't know how it's going to do long term.
All right. Royal Benjamin says Lawrence Butler to the Braves. I don't see that doesn't make any sense.
No, I also see Soto to the Braves in the comments, though.
That doesn't make any sense either. The Braves currently have 4 outfielders under contract for next year and a DH signed for next year. So none of those trades don't make sense. They're not going to give Soto $50 million a year. They're just not going to do it. Whether he can handle his knees can handle it or not, Acuna is the franchise player. Like there isn't going to be another superstar coming in. If they do give out a big money contract, Jeff, it's got to be for a pitcher. It has to be.
I think so. Somebody in the comments was mentioning Jared Jones eventually coming to the Braves.
I mean, that's at least he's got to be under contract for 5 more years, I would think.
I would think so. Somebody said maybe by next year, but he's got to be still on that rookie deal, right?
I would love to see Jared Jones and Paul Skeens play for a decade together in Pittsburgh and just run up some really impressive, ace tandem stats there. I think that would be great. I would love to see Pittsburgh back in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Chris, to answer your question, Chris, catching up late, but Rajai Davis homer was both nightmarish and a feeling of inevitability. It made the following rain delay, Jason Hayward's speech, Ben Zobrist's double, KB to Rizzo last out, so sweet.
Yep. Yeah, I unfortunately I only know the first part of that feeling. I don't know. I don't think I've watched the Braves shit away a big lead like that and then bounce back, to win the game anyway. And that's tough. That's tough for teams to do. So yeah, credit Jason Hayward. He probably earned $120 million of that contract, given that speech. Curator of Cardboard at SFO Sox fan would also like that link on Instagram. Maybe just throw it up in your story, and we can all. I can send people to your story.
Retro Raj says he meant the Photoshop. So I guess he meant to skip the Photoshop, Ohtani, not stick to them. Very into his Chrome SSP from the Korea series, which is, I believe, the one you're mentioning, and the Muscle Shirt SP. Yeah.
A Plumberman said he didn't watch the Topps video, but he assumes the answer was it was 1, overprint the cards, and then 2, miscut.
That sounds
the
about right.
And yeah. Jared Jones. So it's Shelly the Turtle who says Jared Jones is he a free agent? That doesn't make sense.
Didn't
it's not impossible.
Has he just been just in obscurity for the past couple of years?
I don't know. I'm gonna pull this up here.
All right. While you're doing that, Brewers Kill is in Milwaukee. Awesome. And pulls tons of Cubs hits. Thoughts on regional boxes being packed out? I think that would be too difficult for them to try to control and maintain. So I don't think that's really happening, but you never know. Maximum Freed cards says he was drafted in 2020. So no.
This is interesting. So I'm on COTS contracts right now, and it says Jared Jones he signed a 1-year, $740,000 deal for 2024. And then next to, as it goes forward, usually they're pretty good with the arbitration 1, arbitration 2, et cetera, et cetera. And there's nothing there for him.
So is he not arbitration eligible based on where he was drafted?
But it doesn't say FA. So I think if it doesn't say FA, then that means he's got to be pre-arbitration. So I think he's probably still on like his original deal here. Yeah, it does say drafted in 2020. I see that. And then,
That's it'd be surprising if he was eligible to make any decisions about his whereabouts already.
Yeah, I would be surprised. It's not impossible. I know COTS is usually pretty good on their site about having this stuff.
All right, Blake and D'Lo both say he's pre-arbitration.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that's what it has to be.
Tyler asks or says the Merrill Black sold for $290, Churio Black sold for $467, which is the better buy. Are we certain that both of those were the base cards or rookie debuts?
No, they were. I'm 99% sure the Merrill Black. I did see that, and it says Reed in the title. It was pretty dinged up.
Yes, that was the one that was dinged up. I did see that as well.
Yeah.
So that's You probably aren't going to pay that much. You're going to pay more than that for a decent copy.
Yeah, if there are decent copies, and I assume there are.
Yeah.
Matt McNeil, you're right. 19 opening day had everything. Some of the best jumbo box toppers I've ever seen. I wish people would be realistic selling them on eBay, but
yeah, it'd be fun to open some of those boxes.
That was actually Jeff and our buddy Jake at the Burbank show. We found a seller selling 2 retail boxes of opening day, 2019 opening day. We bought them for $20 a piece. Found a bar, had a couple cocktails, and ripped our way through. No variations to speak of, but for $20, we got about 45 minutes of entertainment there. We were drinking, so it probably felt like an hour.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Wills is throwing this little heater out here. Late, but I was going to say I have that Soto red way better than the sticker. All of those stickers out of 5, so he does have the non-sticker as well.
Man, I feel like Will Sports Cards, his Instagram is it's like the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more in there. And buddy, again, we got to work on the pictures. I appreciated the straightened out Manny Machado picture.
Yes.
My neck appreciated that too.
Yeah.
But we got to get some consistency with backgrounds. Your cards are way too good. You need to treat them better with these photos.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, a couple of quick Bugenhagen here. I'm not going to call you Jeff. There's too many Jeffs. You just Bugenhagen moving forward. Is Garrett Cole able to opt out? The answer is yes. Garrett Cole can opt out, but I think it's something like the Yankees have the option of just adding one more year to the end. There's something like that, but he's due just an ass ton of money, Jeff.
I don't think he could ever opt out because I don't think anybody would sign him for more, especially after his recent injury. I just think he's going to live out that contract there, I believe.
It's bad timing for him to have an opt out in a year where he missed 4 months.
Yeah.
Battery Carla.
With him making tens of millions of dollars guaranteed no matter what happens next year.
Yeah. All right. The battery asks, the Braves extend sales, so they do have under contract for next year. I mean, they got some money coming off the books. I'm really not happy about the Soler trade. I'm really not happy about that at all. We just didn't need to spend $18 million on Jorge Soler next year. But it's done. It is what it is. Do they extend sale? I'm sure they'll talk about it.
I'm sure he'll want it.
Yeah.
He'll say after this year, I proved myself. I don't want to go into a lame duck year.
Yeah, and it must have been. I mean,
can he pitch as well next year as he did this year? It'd be really tough for him to pitch that well going into a complete free agent year. So
yeah,
I feel
getting older. Yeah, I would. I mean, I'd love to have the conversation. I'm sure they will talk to him about it, and I love the idea that they have that conversation with him. Yeah. But yeah, he is, mind you, he is in his mid-30s and doesn't have a great history of health. But at the same time, like we said, a lot of those injuries were freakish. They were like bone breaks, not necessarily ligament or muscle issues, for better or for worse.
Max has thrown this out that they already did extend him. We need to have a crack contract reporting staff.
My understanding, so when they made the trade, the Red Sox were covering 2024. The Red Sox basically paid this year. And then the Red Sox or the Braves, it was this year like 20 some odd million, but the Braves gave him 2 years. So they extended him one additional year, lowered the price tag, and it gave him that second year. I don't think he signed through 2026. I think he signed through 2025, but I'm on COTS. We'll look that up real quick. They basically had him for free this year, which is great because Jeff, as we talked about, they paid like $30 million in dead money for the privilege to carry Jared Kelenich's like 70 OPS plus for the season.
Yeah, it looked good for a little while and then it didn't. So Max said it's an option. So 2026 option for $18 million. There's probably talks about getting that guaranteed somehow for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's his option, he's going to want more years than that.
I think it's the Braves option.
Oh, well then, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't pick that up. I mean, he can kind of take on the Charlie Morton role of being that veteran to lead the pitching staff. Because from everything I read, like his work ethic was great. I think he was a really good teammate. We know how intense he is.
I thought there might be some talk from his camp about trying to cut some innings late in the year, but there was nothing like that. He wanted to go out there every day, take the ball. So
yeah, and it kind of ended the way you thought it might. But yes, so yeah, there is a team option for 2026. So I would assume he'll be back, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm excited to see him in Strider. I'm just excited to see Spencer Strider. I feel like I haven't seen that guy on the field in a long time.
What's the word with him, Chris? Is he supposed to be ready for opening day? Do we know?
Well, he didn't have Tommy John, if you recall.
That's right.
The ligament was not torn. There was like a chip of bone in there that was aggravating it. So I think they braced it. And I have seen, I would expect him back by before Memorial Day. I would say at the latest, I would expect him back. But I in my heart of hearts, he's opening day starter. But that's probably a little bit much.
Yeah. Jeff, I did not notice this number. I don't even remember what Churio's number from spring training was. Did not notice that. Nice to see some collectors from Wisconsin in the stream. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everybody, over there in the Midwest.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, Jay Marble is right. The bad back. I mean, they're going to have to investigate that and see what exactly we're dealing with here. Back spasms. I mean,
don't talk to Milwaukee fans about bad backs that we're dealing with Mr. Yelich.
Yeah. So, Aurora Benjamin, do we think Acuna is going to DH? No, Acuna is not going to DH. The Braves he'll be back in the outfield. But I think from what Acuna himself has said, he's going to take it a little bit easy on the base paths, at least for a while, which is fine. I'd much rather him play 145 games and hit a bunch of doubles and home runs than we don't need him trying to steal third on balls thrown back to the pitcher.
Yeah.
That's a little bit excessive.
World Series predictions. Wills has it as a coin flip. If the Yanks win, Soto MVP. If Dodgers, Mookie gets it. Chances Shohei pitches. Remember, not true Tommy John surgery, and it's baseball. How often do you get there? A lot of luck involved. Yeah. I don't think he's going to pitch, but he has been pitching. He's been doing bullpens. He's been throwing hard. So there's the potential he could get out there. I don't know. What's your prediction, Chris?
I mean, if this goes to game 7, I imagine Shohei would just take himself out to the bullpen.
Just walk
at some
out.
point during the game and just insist on coming in. Straight up predictions. I mean, I do think the Dodgers have kind of an advantage here in that their lineup is just, it's deeper. The Yankees they got those 2 guys who are obviously great, but I mean, I just feel like the Dodgers have more players who have experience. I would say the Dodgers are going to win this. My thought is they'll win it when it comes back to LA. So I'm going to say Dodgers in 6. That's sort of what I'm thinking here. Yamamoto's second start.
Dodgers in 6 is what I think. It's crazy because the Dodgers, their pitching staff is really a wreck. So the fact that they could even think of them as a favorite, the only thing that could mean is that the other team's pitching staff's not that great either. And I think that's the case with the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees, I would give them, I guess they have, I mean, both teams are similar, right? They have starting pitching that could be great, but might not be. Like on any given day, we're not sure. We don't know what version of Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon we're going to get. Just like we don't know what version. I mean, Jack Flaherty gave us, I think we said the best start of the playoffs and the worst start of the playoffs in the same series. So we don't know. Both teams have good bullpens, but I do think the Dodger bullpen's a little bit deeper.
And I think the Dodgers lineup is a little bit deeper, frankly. Definitely. So I think that's gonna eventually take a toll on whatever the Yankees are throwing out there as far as relief goes.
Yeah, I do. From what my Dodger fan friends, I've not seen. Vesia is really important for the Dodgers. He's like their number 1 left-handed reliever.
Yeah,
and if he can't go, he got hurt in Game 5 against the Padres. He didn't play against the Mets. If he can't go, I don't know what the over/under is on walks for Soto, but you take the over. Because the Dodgers' best 5 best relievers are going to be right-handed.
And why?
It's going to be a lot of pointing to first base and going hard after Judge and Stanton.
Yeah. This is a great comment. You're not surprised me if Ohtani pitches with his non-surgical arm in the World Series. Yeah. Nothing he could do would really surprise me.
No. So I did see Will Sports was asking about Freddie Freeman update. I haven't heard anything, but I mean, we're not going to hear anything. And whatever we do hear is just Freddie's going to say it's good to go. Like he feels fine.
He's going to
be out there.
He's going to play.
We just hope. Well, you'll know. You'll know pretty soon. On that first at bat, you can look at his swings and see how he feels.
And how he gets out of the box, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thick Boy is going to be 900 runs scored a game. I kind of feel like that as well. I feel like we're going to get some pretty big offensive games. We saw that a little bit in the Dodgers-Mets series where there are not a lot of close games. I'd like to see a couple slugfest close games. It'd be fun to see a 10-9 game, 12-11, something like that. The 12-2 games aren't as fun, but I'd love to see a slugfest.
It's fun to see, I don't know. It's fun to see guys sort of padding stats, which is always occasionally interesting. Like always occasionally. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you see guys just racking up huge RBI numbers. Max Muncy going 12 straight at bats without reaching base. Like that's insane. Good for him.
It is insane. Yeah.
But that's the guy that like the Yankees don't have after their superstars. They don't have someone like that. They don't have Kike Hernandez with 13 home runs. They have Mike Stanton or Giancarlo Stanton, but he only hits home runs. Four hits in the ALCS, all home runs.
And he's kind of part of that it's their top heavy portion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what the Yankees are going to need, they're going to need somebody to come through like Leyrit style. They're going to need somebody from the bottom of that lineup. Volpe's going to need to have a series, maybe a Verdugo, somebody like that. They're really going to have to step up because it's just, they're not deep enough. Their bats aren't deep enough, even though the Dodgers don't have a strong pitching lineup.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning Leyrit's name again. Just about shit my pants. Kevin Morales, Freeman is not going to be healthy. Like he will play, but I mean, Dave Roberts already said like he has a bone bruise in his ankle, and it would have been like a month on the IL if this were the regular season. But Freeman doesn't go on the IL. In 2019 or 18, he finished the season with the Braves with a broken elbow because he will not be IL'd.
And I feel like at least for him, it doesn't affect his game as much as some other people because he's just a hitting machine. And you could see even when his ankle wasn't right, he was still raking all over the field. So I feel like he's going to play no matter what. Yeah. You had said that you had heard that he was told he couldn't make it worse. So as long as that's the case, he's going to be out there. He's not going to be taking the extra base.
No,
probably not going to be in the field as much as You would think, but
although so far my favorite Dodger play of the postseason was when he scored from second on Muncy's base hit with 2 outs in the first in Game 1 against Senga, and he said he just felt like that second run was really important and he couldn't stop. So like that Mookie had to come out and kind of catch him. I think we talked about it like a runaway truck lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean these games they're going to be really interesting. We'll see how far these starting pitchers can go or are even allowed to go.
Yes, that's going to be interesting to see how the managers handle it, right?
Yeah.
Jay Marble, Juan Soto, such a big game player. I watched his 3-run home run at bat at least 10 times. Me too. There's so much good commentary about that. If he got a mistake, he was going to take it deep. Hard to remember anyone so talented, 25 years old. And this is what Chris and I have been saying for the last couple seasons. His maturity at the plate is so beyond where almost anybody is in their entire career, much less somebody in their early 20s. And the confidence he has at the plate, it's just unbelievable. He's just so confident when it's up there.
Yeah, when you rewatch that, you almost wonder if Gaddis and the catcher shouldn't have seen like the swings he was taking. Like he couldn't get all that off-speed stuff. He couldn't get anything by him. And he's fouling that off because he's just sitting fastball. Like he's just waiting for it. First one he got. Like at some point, you might Gaddis maybe just like, you know what? I'll wave the white flag here. Before you throw that fastball, just put him on first base. Because the ease with which he struck out Aaron Judge afterwards just made it all the more painful for Guardians fans.
For Guardians fans. Yeah. So I think I'm excited. He's one of those guys who seems to step up. I believe today, Chris, was the 5th anniversary of his home run in the 2019 World Series against, was that Garrett Cole that he hit his big home run off of? Verlander.
I think it was Verlander. It was his first World Series home run. Yeah.
And this was the Game 3 anniversary, maybe. I don't know. Regardless, he looked like a monster in 2019. He was only 18 years old, or he's 20 years old, I guess.
Oh, actually, he homered off both those guys. Now that I think about it, I think Cole was the first to left center, and then he got Verlander to right center.
Yeah, I think today was the Cole one. Soto turns 26. Yes, his best years are behind him now, right? Jay Marble says Frenchie said that maybe they should have walked him before that. Yeah,
for a guy who didn't really understand, how to take pitches and how to walk. Pitches. He's a pretty good baseball analyst when he does.
He's a good analyst. He's a really good guy. Yeah. Chris, thank you. We love to talk cards, but especially at this time of year, it's fun to talk about some of the intricacies of the game and how it affects the cards. So appreciate you coming along for the ride.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it was SFO Sox fan. If you listen to our latest Spitballing episode, I did say that there is a history of injured left-handed hitters for the Dodgers having big moments in the World Series. So I would love to see Freeman have a Kirk Gibson moment. Give me like a big fist pump coming around first base. It would be great to see.
Yeah, it would be. And we might see that. Oh, look at these fighting words from Jeff B. I'll still take Churio at age 20 over Soto at 25. I'd take Churio at age 20 over almost anybody in the game. The thing Churio does have is he has all 5 of those tools. He did great on defense, and he's really good on the bases, which Soto doesn't necessarily have. But I don't know if Churio will ever have the plate discipline and the hitting ability of Soto. So
but he's only 20, Jeff. So we shouldn't say we don't know. We don't know what kind of player he's going to become.
And seeing what he became after the first 2 months of the season, it was really I think one thing that's going to hurt him, I hope it doesn't hurt him a lot, is losing Adames, because he was a really good influence on him in the locker room. The whole team's going to miss Adames, but that's just the economics of baseball. I don't blame him. Go get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I going to say?
Yes, he's younger than Jason Dominguez. He's a year younger than Merrill. He is he had a lot of postseason records. The youngest, second youngest to hit 2 home runs in a game. First since Babe Ruth to hit 2 home runs to tie a playoff game. He's legit. Yeah.
He had a really. I mean, it was 3 games, but he was really impressive in those 3 games.
Yeah, I wasn't overwhelmed. For sure.
All right, we're talking about postseason a lot. I just wanted to share another Instagram card. This one comes from, did I get it right? Yeah, make sure I have the right screen here. This one comes from 661 Collectibles. And this is another rally time opening day insert. And this one is Kike Hernandez. getting hugged by Justin Turner. And I assume this is after Kike hit one of it's 13, I think, career home runs, Jeff.
Now he's Mr. October.
It's crazy. I mean, his home run per at bat ratio, I think, is half again lower in the postseason. But this is just another really cool card. I would say if you're interested in these cards at all, take a look. You can Google them. Just look at opening day variations for all these years.
What does PSA call it? I can't quite make it out.
It's just rally time. They just call all these inserts rally time because
they don't. There's no mention of it being a short print on there. It's yeah. All right.
It's technically the rally times were technically inserts. They use the exact same design. It just says rally time up here in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just really cool. And there's a lot of the checklist is interesting. There's a lot of really cool images. And the Gold Cup guys kept their Gold Cups, which is important for weirdos like us.
Yes, that is important. Beautiful card. Mad City Brew says Churio will be good, great, as long as Chris never purchases one of his cards. All right. Okay. It's a lot of pressure, Chris.
I mean, I can't promise anything. Sincerely, I can't promise anything. But I'll tell you this. I won't tell you if I do, but you'll know. You'll know.
Oh, man. As you see, as a off-season motorbike accident, you'll see the next day Chris posts an SSP up. Jimmy, since watching you guys have been collecting a lot of SP and SSP, welcome to the party. We think that's one of the things we really enjoy, and we've really enjoyed that about Update coming out, seeing all the golden mirrors that have come out of this set. We talked about that a lot last week and on Spitball and recent Spitball, and we did a full review of what's come out in Update. So welcome to the party. I wanted to get to SFO Sox fan, I think. Yeah, this is a great question. How many legit potential Hall of Famers are in this World Series? So he's throwing out Judge, Soto, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Cole, Stanton. I'd say that's a lot of potential Hall of Famers. And I feel like the first 6 you mentioned are well on their way in. Stanton, if he can play a couple more years, and especially if maybe this signals a resurgence in his career, he could get in too. But it's been a long time, Chris, since we've had 6 or 7 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good list. Like Jeff said, those first 6, I think they're in. Stanton's got some work to do. He does, interestingly, we did this trivia question last week, but he does have a chance to be the second player with a regular season MVP, an LCS MVP, and a World Series MVP. He's got that. He has that chance. Betts should have it too, but that's neither here nor there. I would also throw in the ring Dave Roberts. I think at this point is probably pretty close to being in the Hall of Fame as manager. I know he can't play, but Clayton Kershaw will be there and be in uniform.
That's a good point. Yeah, Kershaw is going to get a ring. He's on this team.
If they win, he'll get a ring. Yeah. But
yeah, I think that's probably what makes it so compelling and so interesting from a hobby perspective too. Because usually by this time we're already getting the off-season dip for a lot of the players that we talk about or collect or invest. But dip is
there's a couple big names that we forgot that I think we have to make note of. M. Parsons points out I forgot to mention Chris Taylor, who's definitely on a fast track.
He does have a Topps Living Set card, I remember, early in that set. He sure does.
And Filmington is quick to point out that Dominguez, is on an early Hall of Fame track.
Well, he's on his path. Yeah. Filmington, maybe if you can give us an update on where his current B WAR and F WAR are, if he's getting to that career threshold.
There's a lot of cool parallels between these two teams, Jeff. The managers are actually really interesting to look at. They both have huge moments in another storied rivalry, right? We got Dave Roberts with the steal heard around the world in 2004, arguably the most famous, either the most or second most famous stolen base in baseball history. It's either him or Jackie Robinson stealing home. Those are the two most famous stolen bases. But Dave Roberts had a huge play in 2004. But I think I'd temporarily forgotten Aaron Boone in the year before, in 2003. Sent the Yankees to the World Series against the Red Sox in Game 7. So I feel like Boone and Roberts have been going against each other just, a lot.
And not only that, they both have been taking a lot of crap, right? From their fan bases, from people outside. Everybody's like on them. So I feel like for both of them, this is something of a redemption, getting their teams here.
Yeah, Gregory, yeah, doesn't like Boone at all. I mean, I don't think Yankee fans like Boone at all, if I'm being complete. I don't know that for sure, but
They've been really upset with him. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the Hal Steinbrenner effect. Jay Marble has some words of wisdom here for M. Parsons. He's trending up. Chris Taylor, that is. He had 333 in September and 474 in his last 7 regular season games.
I think Jay Marble's looking at his OPS numbers. I can't imagine those are his batting averages.
Many hits.
Yeah,
Kevin says it goes back even further, Chris.
Oh.
As someone who is a current resident of Southern California, the UCLA rivalry is very strong, and they went there.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's interesting. I do know that Yankee fans were getting really upset as Clay Holmes. I think did Clay Holmes tie or set the major league record for like blown saves in a season? I think it was like 10 or 11. And Aaron Boone was like, no, he's our guy. Trot him back out there.
A year removed from him being one of the most dominant relievers. It just, I mean, the whole playoffs has been just an absolute crap show. It just reveals you should not be spending your team's budget on a closer.
Nope. The guys that can come in there and get 3 outs 2 or 3 times a week, it's hard to do it consistently. And we've seen it too by the fact that all these managers are trying to hide relievers from hitters. Like we talked about this before, but I mean, Dave Roberts managed so well against the Mets that his top leverage guys, only 2 relievers, they each faced 1 hitter more than once. Yes. One of them faced Lindor twice. One of them faced Alonso twice.
Which is crazy. It's
and
crazy.
You think about starting pitchers. They're going to do it 3 times in a game.
Yeah.
That's how much better they are. I know we look at Blake Treinen throwing those unhittable sliders. He throws like 8 of them, and you're like, oh my God, he's the greatest pitcher ever. But, you know, he's also done for the game.
Yeah, that's it. Chris Hayes, I agree. Chris's recall on decades of World Series moments. Chris is a World Series and an MVP savant. So, yes, if you need to have any facts about the MVP races or the World Series even postseason moments over the last, I'd say 50 years, Chris is right there.
Yeah, I can't count cards or toothpicks on the floor, but for some reason, baseball moments, Simpsons quotes, and like I don't know, 90s movies maybe.
That's his Rain Man. That's his Rain Man wheelhouse. Yeah. Jeff, does the Dodgers closer have an outside shot at the house? So, are you talking about Blake Treinen being in the Hall of Fame? Is that what we're talking about here?
It's possible Bugenhagen is confusing him with Kenley Jansen, thinking Jansen might still be on the Dodgers, but there's no one in that Dodger bullpen that has a shot at the Hall of Fame. I feel comfortable saying that.
It's got to be the most outside shot of all time.
Yeah, I would like to know what those odds are if you walk into a Vegas casino.
M. Parsons does want to remind you before Chris's head gets too big, Chris Hayes, that he can't remember where he left his keys or where his earbuds went, which is troublesome for a lot of us, I have to say.
Yep.
But
Jeff actually 2 weeks ago, Jeff asked me to pick something up for him at Costco, and I had it at home. And a couple hours later, Jeff's like, "Okay, I'm back anytime." I had to pick something up from Jeff anyway. It's like anytime you want to come over. So I walked right out the door, drove all the way to Jeff's house, and I did not bring the only thing I was supposed to bring with me. So I mean,
any cards?
No, I brought nothing. I had clothes on, and I guess that was a win. Yeah. But our brains work in different ways.
That's true.
Bugenhagen, that's exactly right.
So Bugenhagen says yes, he's thinking of Jansen. So good job. Chris even could read what Chris was trying to talk about.
Kevin Morales, I'm saying Dodgers. I think the Dodgers have the edge here. I will say if Vesia can't go, then the Yankees have a slight edge they have 2 lefties, whereas the Dodgers will only have 1 without Vesia. So, but I do think on paper, I mean, obviously we don't know how these guys are going to perform. On paper, sorry, Jeff, cover yours. The Brewers had the better bullpen than the Mets, but they didn't. And on paper, Cleveland had a great bullpen. But when the going got tough and the screws got tightened,
closers are closers. Yeah.
It's hard under real pressure. I mean, I'm speaking hypothetically. I have no idea what that pressure feels like, but I felt pressure playing recreational softball. So I can't imagine what playing a playoff game in front of millions of people feels like. It's got to be absolutely crushing. But people like those Indians relievers, a lot of them, they went away from their strengths. I mean, what's his name? Class A stopped pitching inside. It's not easy to hit that pitch Aaron Judge hit out off of him, but it's easier when every single pitch he's throwing is in the same place.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never be able to do it, but Aaron Judge is one of the best hitters in baseball, so he can certainly do it.
He can certainly do it, and that's the hitters. The good hitters are going to get those opportunities and then take advantage of them.
Exactly.
Alfredo, Ohtani rookies recommending as us Sox fans says, what are your budget? There's a lot. We have a couple of videos about Ohtani cards. The only really decently, reasonably priced rookies remaining are his finest rookies, I would have to say, Chris.
Yeah, I would agree with that. His Topps finest are probably, in terms of image, it's a great hitting image. And the prices have not gone completely buck wild as of yet.
Yeah.
The Bowman Chrome is awesome. But right now, I just feel like the pop is over 4,000 PSA 10s, and the price tag is around $800 to $1,000. And it just seems like a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't hold there. I'm just saying that's too much for me. When the pop gets up that high, I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough because you think if he's got a worldwide audience, there's going to be a huge Asian fan base watching this World Series, a lot more eyes on him than he's ever had. So could he still go up from here? Yes,
absolutely.
But are we still going to get an off-season drop? I don't know. He's kind of a unicorn, as we've talked about many times, both as in his ability on the field and his collectability and his worldwide appeal. So he doesn't, his hobby stuff doesn't always follow the same patterns as other players.
And his off season, Jeff, is going to be filled with in early November, he's going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
And then starting in like December and January, it's just going to be talk of how much is he going to pitch? When's he going to start? Like, how's he looking? It's just the hype for him will start probably New Year's Day. There'll be some stories about how he looks throwing his bullpen. So I don't know. Jeff and I we're not good prognosticators about his values. I love him. So, and this is his Topps finest rookie, and it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think we said before, it has kind of a Saved by the Bell intro credits vibe to it in the background.
Yes. Got a little 90s, the angles, Trapper Keeper. Yeah.
But that's a great looking card. The refractors, it starts to get more expensive. This one, again, not our card. We are not selling this, but it's listed at $50, which for a base card initially seems like a lot. But if you look at the PSA pop reports, like this thing is not printed anywhere near as much as like Series 2 or Update.
Correct. Yeah. For the game, Paul is kind of talking about what we've talked about before. Look at the history of baseball relievers. How many great in the World Series? Only a few did well. Yeah, and even that list, even the best of all time, had a rough World Series, Chris.
Yeah, it's a difficult job. It really, really is. I'm not saying that like closing is easy and everyone should be able to do it, but I think to get in the Hall of Fame, you got to be the very tippy top, and you've got to have a long resume. And that's why Rivera was absolutely incredible, the best ever by a mile, and he still
blew a World Series.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you get guys like Chris is talking about. You get relievers like Matzek and Will Smith who go otherworldly during a run. And are they Hall of Famers? No, but for those 3 weeks, they were untouchable. So.
Yeah, Tyler Matzek. I think it's outside. Either he or Will Smith could have their numbers retired at Truist Park, and no one would complain. Nobody would complain. Rivera was incredible, like absolutely incredible. But 01, he blows game 7. 04, he blew games 4 and 5. Now I think game 5, that's a little tough. I don't want to put that one on him because he came in with I think the tying run was a third because Tom Gordon. There's great stories about Tom Gordon like puking in the bullpen. Late in games 4 and 5 at Fenway Park. I mean, those 2 games, if you're not a Yankee fan, those are 2 of the greatest baseball games you're ever going to see. Like in terms of pure intensity and the nerves, just watching those on TV, I feel like you could see people at Fenway Park, like aging in like hair turning white, people just absolute panic. But
yeah, I want to go back and watch some of that. That was crazy. It was crazy to live through.
Yeah. There's a Netflix documentary actually coming out about it. Sometime this year, before the end of this year. I forget what it's called, but hopefully there's going to be some great interviews. I mean, Pedro and Ortiz love talking about it.
Yes, and they're fun to listen to. Jacob throws this out there. Basketball and football collectors are buying Ohtani as well. He is hobby famous now, which isn't surprising. We've talked to people whose families know nothing about baseball, but their elderly mother is asking about Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. I've said it before. My mom got Shohei Ohtani's name right, and she has also called me Mark. And there is no Mark in my family. Like that
but she'd appreciate Ohtani as a son.
Yeah, so the name Ohtani can work its way like through dementia. Even I bet but I want to also add dog lovers. I think are also on the Ohtani train.
Yep, he's got a 2-track mind: baseball and decoy. Right. I don't think Chris would go quite this far, but he's kind of leaning that way. So Taguchi is greater than Billy Wagner.
Yeah,
as a baseball player.
I think so. Taguchi took Wagner deep in a playoff game. I believe.
Wagner's. I think he had an 8.5 ERA for his postseason career.
Yeah, it's hot. I mean, it's tough.
It's already out there. All right, good.
Okay, it is. Oh, there you go. I feel like all of our questions, we should just have Kate on a side chat over here.
Correct. Eck gave up the Gibby homer. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that changed the series.
And that's crazy too, because like when you hear, there's so many interviews, there's a lot of footage of them kind of talking about that at bat. And Eckersley, to his credit, has been right there. Like he's happy talking about it. I mean, he's got a ring, a Cy Young, an MVP's in the Hall of Fame. So I'm sure it irks him a little bit still, but guys get in that big spot. Like he tightened up, and Kirk Gibson basically knew that backdoor slider was coming. This is his pattern. And Eckersley didn't change anything. He just went with another backdoor slider, and there you go.
Chris makes a great point. You love hearing him talk about it. And Eckersley felt like, at my best, he can't beat me with his best. And he knew Gibson wasn't at his best, so he's like, well, let's.
But in hindsight, speeding up the bat of a guy dealing with a leg injury is really dumb. And also, amazing trivia question, by the way. The Kirk Gibson home run was a 2-run game-winning homer. Because with 2 outs and no one on base, Eckersley walked the guy
to get to him,
to get to
that spot.
Yeah, well, not an intentional walk. He just walked someone, just lost control for like 4 or 5 pitches and walked.
And he was, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has one of the best strikeout to walk ratios in history. I mean, he would walk like a handful of guys a season. Yeah, his numbers were. He had that one season. He had like fewer base runners than saves or something. It was nuts. But anyone out there can tell me who Eckersley walked before Gibson hit that home run. Because if I'm that guy, my chest is puffed out everywhere I go, and it's probably I wear shirts that say like Eckersley walked me on the back, so everyone remembers. Maybe I can't remember. You have to reveal it to us.
Yeah, I'll give everyone a few minutes. I'm sure Kate will come up with it.
Yes, Kate probably has it already. Jay Marble, thank you for watching the old videos of what cards to target of certain players. Can we expect more in the offseason? Yes, Chris and I are going to need stuff to talk about. It's a long, cold winter, even out here in California. So Chris and I are going to be talking about players. So please, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell that tells you when we post anything new. We're going to be posting a new video tomorrow, I believe, Chris, with some World Series cards to look at. So hit that bell and you'll be notified. Right.
Fingers crossed, Jeff. If we're able to make YouTube work for us, then I mean, what Jeff meant to say is we'll try to post a video tomorrow.
We'll try to post something tomorrow. So don't sit by your bell.
Yes. Kevin Morales, by the way, this is like, I think about stuff like this before I go to sleep, and then I gotta wash the sheets in the morning. But this is that would be incredible. That's what I want to see. That's I want to see that more than anything else.
Yeah, and Freeman, he is a professional hitter, and to his credit, he's dealt with a lot this year. This is just another blip on his radar. So it'd be fun to see him walk it off that way.
Yeah, not that other players don't care about their kids. Everyone cares about. Well, if you have kids, you really care about them. But Freeman is extremely family oriented. There's a great ESPN doc about him and his mom. So I mean, what he went through with his son, I bet he wanted to just walk away from the team for the whole season and just be like, guys, I'll see you guys in March. Like, I can't do this. But, he persevered. Maybe he needed the distraction. I don't know. Doc's cards with a great point. And this would be a fun video for us to do, Jeff. We'd have to really get into it. But is the Mike Davis walk one of the 10 worst walks of all time? Without a doubt.
Yeah.
One of the 10 worst walks of all time.
I feel like we've seen a couple others recently.
I mean, Gaddis's 4-pitch walk of Soto right before Judge to bring up Judge with a tying run. If they don't win that game, that might be one of the 10 worst walks of all time.
With Soto hitting as well as he can. He was Mike Davis was no Soto, right?
No. But I mean, Soto wasn't the tying run. I mean, you got to make him hit his way on.
Yes, Gibson was totally off 1 foot. It didn't matter. I mean, Ohtani, when he hits, yeah, he's off that 1 foot. But we were talking about this at softball last night. He hits like a golfer, and his whole body gets in that torque, and he just crushes it. Gibby seemed like he hardly had anything on that. He just kind of flicked it. It was like a wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kirk Gibson.
But whatever weight he had, moving at exactly the right time as the pitch, Kate makes an excellent point here, as she usually does. That Freeman Game 6 walk-off to win the World Series, they wouldn't even put it on a card. We get a tops now, and that would be it. Maybe.
Yeah, tops now, or just like the picture of the base, maybe.
I was actually, Jeff, if they did a tops now, the tops now would be Ohtani celebrating, and it would be like Ohtani celebrates Freeman's World Series.
Ohtani crossing the base, in the background you see Freeman.
Little Freeman, yeah, behind, like over his shoulder.
Los Bravos, this is the first thing I thought of too. Mike was a former Athletic. Yeah, Mike Davis. He had some great glasses, some great serial killer glasses. Yeah, Wills. He went through a lot with his family, and it sounds like things are going well. So good thoughts to the entire Freeman family.
Jacob, it's not impossible. I think it'd be incredible to see Judge and Ohtani both just get hot and just start going like homer for homer back and forth. Be amazing.
Yeah. That would be something. I do want to see, as much fun as it is to see guys come out of nowhere. Your Kike Hernandez, your Will Smith, your David Eckstein, all those guys. It is going to be fun to see if we could see some stars really show up on this big stage.
I will tell you, it's not fun to see guys come out of nowhere and play really well against teams you root for. That is extremely frustrating.
True. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's like the redeeming factor of the Brewers losing to Pete Alonso. Even though he had a bad year, he still was one of their better hitters. And for him to come up with, you just got to kind of tip your cap. But yeah, when you lose it all to somebody who hits like Chris Taylor, it's rough.
It's tough. It is tough. Yeah, Chris Taylor had a 3-homer game against the Braves in the playoffs, but that was the series they won, so it didn't matter. And they basically punted that game, which is the only way Chris Taylor hits 3 home runs. But ask any Phillies fan how they feel about Cody Ross, and someone's going to put their hand through some drywall pretty quickly.
Cody Ross. Yep. Jacob says, so Kate says she likes to see another slugfest. That's what I'm saying too. That would be fun too, especially since I don't have a vested interest. And I don't mind if these poor pitchers get blown up. I'd like to see Cole do well, of course, but
if I would just like the slugfest to be a clean slugfest. It's less fun when you look back in hindsight and realize that one team was slugging because they knew all the pitches that were coming.
A trash can was involved. Yeah.
When Clayton Kershaw goes an entire World Series game without a single swing and miss at an off-speed pitch, like red flags should have been going off. But you don't think, like, there's no way a team is blatantly cheating. Like they're just getting really good. They're seeing it well out of his hands.
Seeing it well. That's the phrase, right? We're just seeing it well.
All stigma. She did say all stigma aside, but yeah. I would love a clean slug.
Sox fan. We all want to see huge hits and homers. We're going to get a Clark Schmidt pitching gem, aren't we? That's always the fear, right? We're going to get a 1-0 game where.
I don't mind a 1-0 game. Those are exciting. I mean, did you just feel the tension? Just like.
That's true. I guess I should say 8-0 game. If we get an 8-0 game, no home runs. Home field advantage. I've seen the Tops update. I've seen the Churio. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of the home field advantage. I know a couple of other friends on Spitball and are home field advantage fans. I don't know. It seems kind of like Panini to me. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. Are you?
Jeff and I aren't big insert collectors.
Yeah.
Unless, something particularly strikes us.
Jeff's asking if the Brewers signed Alonso to play third base. I think the defense would take a hit with that.
I mean, does he mean Pete Alonso, or is Edgardo Alonso?
Edgar Alonso is a different name. Comeback.
This is the home field advantage, I think, as was mentioned. I mean, it's kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
How rare are they in update? Like,
I think they're pretty rare compared to other inserts anyway.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad looking. I do like a lot of $100 is the buy. Now I like that they keep the RC shield on there. So they put it on all the inserts.
Yeah.
But not on Blake Treinen's rookie, right? All right. But yeah, I feel like we should let everyone, maybe tonight we could do a contest, Jeff. We'll let everyone guess.
Somebody was asking about a contest. Is that what you saw, Chris?
I was just thinking about this. Excluding the 6 Hall of Famers, okay, or the 6 presumptive Hall of Famers, we should let everyone pick a player, and we'll see whoever picks the World Series MVP. We'll open up some junk wax and send it to them.
All right, I like that.
So everyone gets one name, and if someone else says the name you want first, say someone else. But those 6 guys are off limits.
Yeah. So somebody could get Stanton, I guess.
Yeah. Cardboard Showcase. We know you're pulling for Ohtani. If you didn't see, Cardboard Showcase put up a video on his YouTube channel, which is the same name, of his top 50 Shohei Ohtani cards.
Not top 5, top 50.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, all I'm going to say is you're going to watch that video. You're going to need something like this to get through it.
Yeah.
I assure you.
All right. So we got some prediction. Oh, Teo. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yamamoto.
Okay. Yep.
Austin Wells.
Oh.
A Muncy from M. Parsons.
All right. I mean, listen, he's been there before. And I feel like that honestly does. It's hard. I mean, Smoltz talks about it all the time. How there's nothing like playing in the postseason where you fall behind 2-0 and all of a sudden he's like, my mouth gets dry, my heart starts pounding. I'm like, what if I walk this guy? What if the next guy? But it's hard to control. It's hard to control the thoughts.
I get it.
All right, keep them coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Verdugo, huh?
Wills, I appreciate your bets pick, but he is one of our future Hall of Famers. Or Pedro Guerrero. Yamamoto's been there in Japan the last 3 years. A little bit of inside information there. Maybe he will.
He did not look nervous in Game 5 against the Padres, Jeff. He did not look nervous. He was pounding the strike zone, which is for him that's important. I know you pointed out he wasn't getting a ton of swings and misses, but he was throwing a lot of tough pitches.
Yeah. Decoy. We got a decoy pick.
Okay. All right. I'll go back and I'll write these down to make sure they're assigned to the person who said them first. Yeah, I see Kike.
Tommy Edman.
Luke Weaver.
Double up on his postseason awards here.
It happens. Someone mentioned how much they hate David Freese in the comments. There's another guy who won, 2 in a row. Jeremy Pena won 2 in a row, for goodness sake. Cole Hamels, Livan Hernandez. A lot of guys, when they get hot in the LCS, they carry it right over. Seager, 2020.
Will Smith. I don't think anybody took Will Smith yet, Kate.
Nope. You don't get 2, Kate. You only get 1.
Chris Hayes says Rizzo.
Yeah, there we go. Rizzo's interesting. Veteran guy. Yeah. He's so hot and cold. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm making a mess over here, Jeff.
Kevin says Teoscar first. So when I win, I'll take all the Kershaw SPs you guys have. Well,
I think we have 1.
Kind of out of luck. Oh yeah, we do have 1.
It's a hell of a 1 though.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Rope here. We said you can't say the 6 Hall of Famers. So no, you can't say Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Judge, Soto, or Garrett Cole.
So Thick Boy's rolling with Will Smith.
There you go.
Hey, we know the name has had some postseason success. So
yeah, that's a great point. If you didn't realize that Will Smith has won the World Series for 4 straight years.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yes, Will Smith, the reliever, had a near Terrence Gore type of streak going. 1 he completely earned. The next 2 he was just kind of there.
Hey, you're on there. You get the ring.
That's 1 more ring than guys like Ted Williams and Ernie Banks and Don Mattingly and Mike Messina all have.
No rings.
Yep.
Big World Series performance from Pajes Ninjas saying. All right.
That is an interesting guy because he will be deployed against lefties. He's going to be in there against Rodon. They'll try to get him in there.
Yep. Doc, baseball card talk, chips and salsa, cold beer, and a few packs to rip. Good times. Cheers. Yeah. Let us know what you're ripping.
I think we're at countdown 2 weeks to Stadium Club. I think, give or take.
Yeah, but man, Chris, we haven't even talked about Stadium Club. Are we gonna get it? Is it really $200 for a box?
Well, after we're in a wait and see mode here, Jeff. Yeah, if we'll see what Burbank is going to charge for a box. I know Blowout listed it at $199, and I can't do it. I just can't.
No, that's absurd.
No.
It's so frustrating.
Oh, yeah, November 6th. I don't think anyone has claimed Chris Taylor. Is he going to start? I guess he might get a couple starts. He'll start at second against Rodon. So I guess maybe they're just hoping he'll, force Rodon to throw 4 pitches before he strikes him out. Pre-order at 140. That was smart, Professor's dugout. That was smart.
Smart. I mean, that's still higher than we paid last year, but
we should have seen the writing on the wall, though. If the pre-order was 140, we should have grabbed a couple just to have them.
Hey, Royale, this is a great question. I almost sent this to my spitballing crew when I got the email. Yeah, soccer, I think it's Champions League, is getting Stadium Club Chrome, and baseball is not.
I mean,
yeah. As a full Sox fan, I believe Edmund was taken. He was taken.
Yeah, we're scraping the barrel here. There's a couple guys left. I mean, I will say Weaver was taken, but I haven't seen a Dodger reliever yet. Although I haven't seen them all, to be fair. I'm a few comments behind.
You only ordered 2, Professor. All right, I was going to try to buy some off you, but
it's a really fun rip. But at $200, it's just not that fun.
No, it's a little less fun because then you're a little more upset about what you're not getting.
Yeah, most likely you're going to get about $20 worth of cards, and man,
right,
it's hard
for $100. $100
bucks.
One night of ripping plus $20 in cards is worth it, but $200.
That's a little much. That's
yeah. Jay Marble, our friend Teapot didn't join the stream. Otherwise, he might have taken Jack Flaherty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I love the people saying like, well, I've seen on the MLB Network, they're talking about who does this rest benefit, who does it not benefit. I mean, at this point, everyone should be as fresh as they're going to get. I just want to know, what do you guys think? While we're taking people's thoughts, what do you guys think Garrett Cole's first pitch to Ohtani is going to be? Because he's had a week to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered last year when the Braves and Phillies squared up, like Wheeler had a long time to debate. He knew his first pitch to Acuna was coming in the playoffs, and it's like the Phillies -- the Braves best hitter. How is he going to start that game? And the more I thought about it, it was like obvious, like fast. He's just going to try to like pull it out, we'll say, and just drop his fastball and see what happens. And that's exactly what he did. And Acuna fouled it off, which was too bad. But so yeah, I beam him. Is that what I'm seeing? Chin music
theme here.
Yeah, I mean, in a way that kind of makes sense. You got to push him back, like try to establish the inside half. But yeah, I think he's going heater too. I think he's going to try to make a statement. Yeah, heater in. I think it's going to be heater in as well.
Kate is asking, is first stolen base still get America a free taco at Taco Bell, Chris?
I don't know.
I haven't heard much about tacos. That's kind of went by the wayside after last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not heard. I assume we'll know very early because Fox will just be promoting the absolute hell out of that.
Right.
Yeah. Oof. I don't know. I don't think Ohtani's going up there looking.
The Sox fan is wondering if there could be a quick trade made for the Dodgers. No. It would pretty much seal the World Series for them.
Oh man, yeah. I'm just excited. I want to see that because that's just two professional athletes, 2 competitors who want nothing more to compete, and all they can do, Jeff, is sit here for like a week and think about that first pitch, and just picture it in their heads how they expect it to go. One of them will execute it, and the other one won't.
I feel like Ohtani's gonna get his swings in. So I feel like he's going to swing at the first pitch. I think he's going to get 3 swings in. I don't know what happens with those swings, but
like for the game or in that at bat, Jeff?
In that at bat.
Kate, you're right. That would be amazing if Devers came out to throw the first pitch just to ice. I mean, poor Garrett Cole would just shivers down the spine, Jeff, just seeing him there.
Donnie, this is a very logical guess. So we're trying to pick the dark horses.
Yeah.
But I would not be upset if Soto got the MVP. It means we'd get a lot of great baseball from him. I think he's fun to watch.
I mean, man. Yeah, and later after the World Series, we'll do another contest, but we'll take people's guesses on the contract, and whoever gets it closest, we'll do like a junk. Well, I'll get an old rack pack or something.
Yeah,
maybe 2.
The contract.
That'll be really fun. But yeah, I mean, man, I don't know. First pitch fastball and Ohtani launches it. I mean, Dodger Stadium might collapse, Jeff.
It might collapse under its own weight of cheering. This is a good point too. I mean, there's no let up with that lineup. That top 3 or 4.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all got, if you look at the NLCS stats, it's absurd. Ohtani's OBP was like 560. Betts's was right around 500. Muncy was over 600. Edman was like just around 500. They were locked in. I mean, if Freeman was 100% healthy, Jeff, well, first of all, I would be much
happier. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be much happier all the time. But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I just sound like I'm just repeating myself. I'm excited. No Braves, no Professor's dugout. I don't think anyone has taken Gavin Lux.
I think Gavin Lux is yours.
All you.
He's yours. Kate has a question. You still have the 2018 Chrome Update Soto Gold Refractor, Chris. Fun time to look at that one.
Wow, Kate, that is an encyclopedic memory. And indeed, we do still have that card.
That's a deep pull. Yes, that's a great card.
It is one that we actually frequently remind ourselves that we have. Because Soto's a guy, like when you look at someone who's about to turn 26 and all he's accomplished, Jeff, and the fact that he has been able to stay completely healthy and his style of play, it leans towards someone who can stay on the field. Like he's not Acuna is. He doesn't really, he's not busting his ass on defense.
His game's not predicated on his speed and quickness.
Thank you. That is the exact verbiage I was attempting to get. Thank you for just filling that out for me. So, I mean, it's totally normal to be like, as much attention as Ohtani gets, we can just sit here and fantasize about what 14 more years of Juan Soto could look like. And do we have enough Juan Soto cards? No.
Well, is he going to? Yeah. Kate mentions Gold Glove finalist Juan Soto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's already been established by certain players in New York that Gold Gloves don't necessarily mean a lot, but it's a nice thing to add to your resume, right?
That's a tough one to wrap your head around. I mean, the only thing I can guess is like he has such a small area to cover in right field at Yankee Stadium that not a lot drops in. So maybe range factor and stats like that.
Throws. To his credit, he's made some good throws.
Yeah. He has a decent arm. It's kind of like that'd be like saying Manny was a good defender because he played left field at Fenway well.
Well, at least Soto hasn't thrown the double cut yet to somebody else cutting off in the outfield.
That's one of my favorite highlights of all time.
All right, Donnie, I appreciate your picks. We're going to have to come back, though, after the season for the Soto contract picks.
Yeah, don't give away your numbers yet.
Yeah.
Keep that one in your back pocket.
Okay.
But yeah, peanut butter, I don't think Soto is going to be a Dodger. As much as I don't, there's no limit to what the Dodgers can spend. You know, again, they get like $270 million a year just on their local TV deal. And I think that's about 9 times what the Braves get and probably close to 10 times what the Brewers get.
Yes.
I don't think there's not room for Soto, nor do I think that's where they're going. With all these pitching injuries, Jeff, I think they're just going to go sign more. They're going to go sign every starting pitcher they can get their hands on.
Yep, I agree.
Soto will be in New York next year. It's just a question of which borough and how much of that borough he owns.
You're right. He might get some property management out of this.
I'm going to hate to see Max Fried in a Dodger white, but that seems inevitable to me.
I think that's inevitable. Yeah.
He might reunite with Flaherty too. They were high school teammates. I could see it. It seems to make sense. Although not the most durable pitcher, Jeff.
Times that he's going to go back to the Nats. I don't see this happening. I mean, some sort of reunion, I guess, but the Nats are really going young. It seems like they're kind of all in on that young full rebuild. So I can't imagine them plugging.
To be fair, though, Jeff, they don't have a lot of big money on the books, right?
True.
I mean, how brilliant do the Nats look right now for letting Rendon walk?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how many more seasons Patrick Corbin has. It might just be one more.
Yeah, I guess what's gonna have to happen is we're gonna have to see how much he likes winning, right? Because if he doesn't care as much about winning, then you have more people involved. Then you have the Giants involved, but Kate says, my company advertised on the arm patch for the Dodgers. So when I finally log off for the day to watch the World Series, I'll be greeted by my own employer's logo. Yes.
Is it Guggenheim? Is that what the Dodgers use? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Like the Braves have Quikrete. If anyone here works for Quikrete, that'd be funny. I know I'm just thinking of the ones I see all the time. Like Houston has Oxy. It's super obvious. Like you can't not see the Houston one on the arms. I can't think. I think the Dodgers have a G, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, what's the deal with the helmet decals, Chris? Are we promoting?
It's just league wide for the playoffs. I think they sold it to Strauss.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's going to be different for each team next season, but just for the postseason, MLB made that deal.
Pretty soon it's going to be the entire helmet. It's going to be NASCAR style.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I worked in minor league baseball, Jeff. We sold everything.
Oh, yeah,
everything you could put an advertising logo on, we put it on there, and we sold the hell out of it. Men's room doors, inside and outside, the foul poles. I mean, everything.
I get all that. Leave the jerseys and hats alone. But it's good.
In a perfect world, I agree with you. Yeah, Professor's dugout. I mean, yeah, Steve Cohen. I mean, he basically lives in that water tower full of gold. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be really, really interesting to watch. The Yankees are basically pushed into a corner here, and whatever Cohen offers, they're going to be like forced to match.
I think the Yankee fans are going to riot if they do let him go, especially if he goes across town. And as Chris has pointed out to me many times, with Cohen not afraid to spend money, the Mets are never far away from potentially being fielding a winner. Look at this year. So
yeah, this was supposed to be a rebuild year. This was like a transition year for them. They made the NLCS. Now, granted, they have 3 starting pitchers that they're losing, and their first baseman, but they also have it's something like $170 million coming off their payroll. Remember that they paid all the contracts for Scherzer and Verlander, to get prospects. So right now, I mean, I feel like this is the equivalent of you and I walking into the Burbank card show with $50,000 and free money in our pockets. That's probably how Cohen looks at free agency this year. If he wants them, he's going to get them. I wouldn't be surprised if all these pitchers like Blake Snell's going to opt out. I'd say very good chance he signs in New York. I mean, that team is going to look very different, and they're going to be good.
Yeah, I'm still imagining that $50,000 at the Burbank show. That would be pretty nice to walk in there.
That's going to distract you for the rest of the night.
Yeah. Soto and the Blue Jays, Kevin Morales. I don't see that happening, although there was that flirtation with Ohtani with Toronto. So I guess never say never.
I feel like for a lot of guys, they come to New York and it's too much. The media is too much. The pressure is too much. The attention is too much, but not for Soto. I don't think he's going to want to leave this behind. I know the Giants are also going to be in a position to make him a huge offer, but why would you go play in San Francisco? Yeah, I think he'll want to stay on the East Coast.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing. It just makes sense. Plus, that ballpark's tough.
Donnie's throwing out this. He loves being a Yankee. He sure seems to. Him and Judge seem to get along. It doesn't seem to be a battle of egos, at least publicly. And from what I've heard privately, it's been great in the locker room. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's what I'm saying. It's fascinating to watch. All I'll tell you guys is what I learned myself. If a player hasn't already signed, there's no guarantee that they sign. That's all I'm going to tell you. I mean, I watched for months, and I'm like, of course Freeman's going to come back. They're not going to screw this up. And here we are.
Yeah. Battery has a question for you, Chris. Where's the Quikrete logo on your jersey? Is that a black mark?
This is pre-Quikrete.
Quikrete, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I have an Acuna City Connect, and I got one of the very last City Connects without the Quikrete. I really didn't want that on there.
Shame. That's a shame. That
I know. And then yeah. But Floyd. So Floyd here says, yeah, he is a Boris agent. This is a Boris move, but it's also a Soto thing. He has said from the beginning he didn't want any extensions. He turned down, what was it, 430 or something from the Nationals, Jeff?
Yes, he had a huge extension opportunity there.
And one thing about Soto, I think we should talk about really briefly is Jeff and I were looking at his Bowman Chrome autos, and the prices have been steady over the last month, 6 weeks or so. So we think the hobby is waiting to see where he signs is more important than if he gets this ring. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you considering buying Soto right now? Are you in a waiting period to see where he signs? Does that matter to you? If you were going to, go drop $500 on a Soto card? Would you do it now before the World Series? Or I don't know. I just feel like he signs with the Mets, his market, I think his cards all go down.
I agree. Even let's say he wins the World Series and the World Series MVP and then goes to the Mets. I still feel like it goes down.
Yeah. Kate with an interesting point here. I mean, should we be shocked if he goes and plays in Houston and doesn't pay a state income tax? Like that's when your contract pays you $600 million. That's a pretty big difference. Taxes in New York aren't low. Taxes in California certainly aren't low.
It's a difference, but then again, it comes back to how important is winning to him. Because at a certain point, what's the difference between 400 million and 600 million in terms of what he can do? But if it gives him a chance to go to the playoffs and build a legacy and cement a Hall of Fame resume, I don't know. Feel like that might take some priority, but.
Oh, battery, this makes me sad. And Doc's cards, I'm glad your Strider is also pre-quick. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What were we just talking about, Jeff? I feel like my maker's mark just hit and I completely just phased out the last 30, 40 seconds.
Well, yeah, you missed it. You just sold all your cards to Jorge.
Well, I'll deal with that tomorrow, I guess.
Soto the Rangers confirmed. Yeah. I don't know. I think, Chris, this is a good point. People have talked about this fourth team in what would be 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. His first Yankee cards were kind of exciting because the Yankees are huge, but like the Mets just don't have that gravitas. They don't have that same kind of pull. It would take a long time, for his cards to matter in a Mets uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with his abilities, there may be some kind of floor built in, but any progression going up, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be, yeah. There's a lot of exciting baseball stuff happening, not just what's on the field. The off the field stuff this fall is going to be every bit, well, maybe not every bit, but very close to as exciting. Not to mention the products coming out, Jeff. Yes, there's a lot going on. So it's a good time to be a baseball fan, good time to be a collector.
I think Curator Cardboard is onto something here. Like his career numbers could be disgusting at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but we'll see. But it's a lot harder to homer in San Francisco as a lefty, and it's a lot harder to homer in Citi Field as a lefty than it is in Yankee Stadium. So just be aware. Yeah, Kevin Morales, we were talking about this. They're going to have a ton of money. They're going to try, but I think they're going to be left at the altar just like Judge did. I don't think Judge had any interest in going out.
No, I think it was just built up as a mechanism to raise his signing price.
Guys, it's also just really cold in San Francisco.
Cold.
Not that it's not cold in New York, but
rainy.
Yeah. And you're never going to be Bonds.
Yeah.
As a lefty hitter, like you're never going to live up to what Bonds did there. I don't know I think that might matter to Soto. I don't know. It's not like he's going to live up to Ruth or Gehrig either, but.
No, but if he signs there long-term, he could get his own statue out there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very true. Very true. What do we got here? Yeah, Corey Johns. I think that sums it up pretty well. I think that there's a lot of hesitancy in the hobby right now. I would not sell Soto right now unless you felt like you had to, like if you were trying to raise money to buy an Ohtani. Yeah. Mad City Brew with some wishful thinking for you, Jeff, here.
Yeah, I think he's actually correcting someone who did suggest that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Mad City, I know and that's one of the disappointing things about the economics of baseball versus basketball or football, where there are salary caps and floors, and there's a little bit more of an even playing field where you could actually hope for an all-league talent to want to come to your team and be able to. It's just not the case with baseball, and it seems to be just getting worse. We saw four of the top 5 payroll teams be in the final. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
Final 6, final 4.
The LCSs saw 3 of the top 4 and then 1 small market team, and that's all baseball needs. That's all they need is I think they expanded playoffs, so more get in, and then they can always be like, oh, there's parity. There's parity. Look at the Brewers. Look at the Indians.
Yeah,
they got in, but they don't really compete.
No, and the hard part is you can't compete for a long time. You can't really build up any sort of uh, I don't know, nucleus that you can
Right.
build around, because by the time the players get to a certain level, they're just going to go someplace else and make more money. Like Adamas. I'd love to have him still, but he's not going to play.
Yeah, he's a great fit for you guys. So Jacob Goodrell here with a question. Will his numbers get close to Trout though? Assuming we're talking about Soto, that's an excellent question. Will his WAR per season get close to Trout? No.
No.
But will his career home runs, RBIs, runs? Yes. I think he will pass Trout by a lot by the end of the day. At the end of the day, Trout just can't play.
Trout's WAR is so inflated, rightfully so, because of his base running and his defensive ability. And Soto doesn't have that. His WAR is almost all consumed with his offense. So yeah, he may get there numbers wise, but WAR wise, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, but yes, I do think. Yeah, he's never going to catch Trout's WAR, but he'll catch Trout and everything else. But anyway, peanut butter with a good question, Jeff. Whose cars did Chris buy lately? And that might be the final test of the jinx. Well, listen, I think the final test of the jinx was Freddie Freeman hurting his ankle. That proved that even the most durable player, like in baseball, the guy who prides himself on being able to play and getting out there every single day, the fact that he finally went down is probably proof that the jinx that my ability to jinx this season is extremely real. But the last card I bought is actually right here. And speak of the devil, it is a Freddie Freeman red speckle. The fact that we only got one image of Freeman holding the World Series trophy, Jeff, it hurts me, but I'm going for, at this point, I have gold, orange, and red. I have no interest in green or the base, but if the super ever shows up,
you're going after it.
I might have to go after it.
It is sad that that's the only one image, but I think the saving grace is that you have that last out of the World Series. That's an amazing card.
Yes, that is true. That is true. And I do think the fact that he switched teams hurt the likelihood. I think it cost us a good Stadium Club image variation.
Yeah. Chris is talking about it follows. So it just maybe Chris can pass along that curse to some of our other friends.
Yeah, I'd like to think that next year it has to end. This can't continue. I mean, I like to think that next year it'll be someone else's. Maybe Filmington will be responsible next year, and it won't be me. But this has been terrible. Only 2 players that I have talked about survived this season, Jeff. And one of them I talked about by saying I'm out on this guy. I'm done with him.
You bailed on Vlad Jr. in mid-May, and ever since then he's been on his hair.
Yeah, well, literally one of the 5 best hitters in baseball since I said I'm done. I'm out.
That's it.
And the other guy, I'm not even going to say his name out loud. Kevin Morales, I'm fine with that. I would love, I hate to say it, like, I don't know, 3 of my favorite non-Braves players are Dodgers players. So if they win and I get a bunch of image variations of them, like, holding the trophy and stuff.
Celebrating, confetti at the parade. Yeah.
I love Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. Give me all those celebration cards. I want to see it. Yeah, give me that card. Give me Freeman gimping into home plate and the whole team gathered around home plate waiting for him. A picture from behind so you can see like the number 5 on his back, and he's just gimping his way in there. Fans going nuts in the background. Jeff, if that were his golden mirror, I would buy every single copy of that card.
Yep. Jorge wants to throw one final jinx out to you. Saying you posted Manny cards 3 days in a row. Is that true?
He stayed healthy though. I mean, I posted him when he was hurt, and then towards the end of the year I posted him, but he stayed healthy. He didn't play great at the last couple of games. Those last 2 games though, I mean, it wasn't just him. The whole Padres team got silenced.
Yeah.
But all right, fellas, this has been great. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
It's World Series. So we got World Series starting tomorrow, and next week we have Thursday falls on Halloween. So I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people collecting cards and opening packs on Halloween, but I've got to take my kids around, and I'm sure Chris has several costume parties to go to. So we might have to do it another day or another time. So please, again, hit that subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified when we go live, because we will go live at some point next week. Anything else you want to add before we let everybody go watch the World Series?
I wanted to highlight what Corey Johns here said about Guerrero. Like, it's been a slow and steady, and I think he finally made that adjustment. But in Eddie Murray, that's a hell of a comp.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the 3,000 hit club and 500 home run club is pretty exclusive.
That's all right. So yeah, if you're a Dodger fan, go Dodgers. You're a Yankee fan, I wish you health.
Go Soto. All right, thanks everybody. Call your parents, ask them what they feel about the World Series. Tell them you love them, and we'll see you guys next week. Oh, and look out for those videos. If our technology savvy is reasonable, we'll have a video or two up in the next day or two.
Yes, if any of those random guys mentions wins MVP, we've got the card you should buy. It'll be in the video.
Yep, they'll be in the video. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We will talk to you next week sometime.
Whistlers is a spy. Blabbing about slabbing. SSB cards we got. Chris and Jeff, the card collecting crew.